This program is rated PG. It contains themes and scenes which may not be suitable for very young audiences. Parental guidance is advised.
Be advised that the views and opinions of the hosts and guests do not reflect those of the station.
That's by hand.
Hello, my name is Harrington Wadko. Welcome to our program. Okay, what's happening in the world today? It seems that the tensions have become real between our president, who many will say is volatile, vulnerable, and talks too much, or maybe some people will say crazy. You also have the irrelevant Joma Sison, who was likewise the same, wherein they have come fist to fist, blow to blow, and there is no mediation, there's no arbitration, there's nothing coming to terms. Now, you also have the issue of President Trump, together with the bad haircut day in North Korea. Between the two of them head on, there's going to be no solution. Again, it's fist to fist, and it's right there. But how is this going to affect us? Now, we've talked about the military strategies. We've talked about the specific interests. But right now, in this very day and age, when the news, fake news, real news, whatever it is, and everybody in the world weighing in on comments on what's about to happen, giving multiple scenarios. I mean, even the White House, the Pentagon, have come with simulations. You know, basically, when you talk of simulation, you try and get all the information you get, and you find out how you're going to be able to address every instance by detail. But you see, what happens is no one can really say what Trump's going to do next, nor the crazy bad haircut day guy. So again, you've got a problem. How this affects us? Maybe it will, maybe it won't. Of course it will. Why I even say that is actually stupid. But what will happen? What can happen? Will it happen tomorrow? How will it affect us and the rest of the world? With us, we have Butch Valdez, Save the Nation movement. He's also the chair of the LaRouche Society in this country. He's had a show right here in GNN, and he sits as a resource person for many a host right here on GNN. Hi, Butch. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
Narito ka. You see, nasa ano ka, sa front lead ko, di ba? Yung tayo nag-uusap. I think current events yun. Let's go straight to the point. Nokor, anong gagawin natin dyan? Mukhang magbabasagan na yung dalawa eh. Fire and fury. And then here comes Kim Jong-un saying, ang unang titirahin ko teritoryo mo, Guam. Sa dyaryo natin ngayong umaga, nagdadasalan yung mga Pilipino sa Guam.
Right.
Anong mangyayari na ngayon?
Well, first of all, kakatapos lang ng ASEAN meeting dito, right?
Which one thing they said, they condemn the Nokor situation.
Yeah, all of them. But the thing is this, you had Tillerson here, you have what's his name, Karpov of Russia here, for foreign minister, and you also had representation from North Korea.
Yes,
here,
they did
right?
come.
Okay. Now, it is not beyond anybody's imagination that maybe some backroom talks have been made. And those that are free from the eyes of press or anybody. As long as it's an opportunity, it's a neutral ground to be able to talk. And I would like to think that there might have been some of this that could have happened, because it's such a great opportunity to start.
And a nuclear confrontation has no
Right.
winners.
Right. Now, having said that, I just want to not just shift a little to have an understanding of what the U.S. situation is. No. The U.S. is not solely Trump. It is also what they call the deep state. And it is also Wall Street, and it is also CIA and other kinds of
Interest groups.
and Congress. No? It has been shown that Congress, both Republicans and Democrats, no, have gone against Trump.
Especially the health bill.
In the last Obamacare, it was, from my point of view, it was a show and big message to Trump that you have to follow us. We don't follow you. And just because you're Republican does not necessarily mean we follow you.
The same thing happened with the Russian issue in the elections.
Exactly. So after, not just the Russian issue on the elections, what did so they passed the Obamacare with all of its infirmities. The other thing that the Congress had done was impose sanctions on Russia.
Yes.
To the consternation of Trump. He didn't want that.
He was against it.
He was against it because he was moving towards improvement of relationships with Russia. Of course, Russia had to react to it by sending back 750 diplomats back to the United States.
But napakaraming diplomats naman naka-assign sa Russo.
It's an important, it's an important post, no? So
For war crisis, but in trade, there is really nothing America needs and wants from Russia. It's Europe who requires it.
Well,
with the gas.
There are some trade arrangements that they have that they value very much, no? But that beside the point, no? And that's the situation we have in the United States. This Russia hype, demonization of Russia, that Russia is about to strike the U.S. and so on and so forth, is being made by a group different from Trump and Tillerson. Okay? We understand that now going on, you only have to watch CNN and you see how they keep on pounding and pounding on
Trump.
something that is nothing, right?
Yes.
On using the Russian issue, which is really a hype. Now let's jump to this situation in North Korea. There are, in the South China Sea, we have the American presence. 60% of the U.S. military might, naval might, is in the South China Sea. And we're right in the midst of it, which means U.S. warships are plying our territorial waters. That was during Obama's time. But since then, Trump and Tillerson decided that they want to improve relationship with China and with Russia, right? That means moving towards some kind of modus vivendi or maybe improvement even in trade relations, because the trade situation and the economic situation of the U.S. Grossly depends on how China reacts to even to the dollar and the
world,
trade,
basically.
to the world, yeah. So they understand this because especially Trump is a businessman, right? So he's moving towards that, but there still are people that are moving towards war. They insist on war. And very often he has had to allow some sort of allow this war hawks to vent their willingness to go to war. In
Or basically
many
media's
different
allowed them,
ways.
is giving them a microphone.
Well, of course, by starting to move and saying, getting the military to tell Trump, we want to move towards this and that. Right now, it is North Korea. We must understand that North Korea, no matter how much it has been demonized, and no matter how crazy their leaders are, this guy and his father as well, and so on and so forth, somewhere in the 1990s, the second half of the 1990s, I think the president then was a guy named Ro Tai Wu, Ro Tai Wu, R-O-H, if I'm not mistaken.
You're talking about the time of President Carter.
No, 1990s. This was Clinton.
Clinton, okay.
Clinton, and towards the end of Clinton and moving towards George Bush Jr., right? If you remember, there was a time that they had some sort of an agreement, and they were establishing businesses in the demilitarized zone, joint businesses between North and South. It was also the time that North allowed relatives
To see, and yeah, I remember
to
there
meet.
was some type of homecoming.
Yes, and there was homecoming and crying and embracing each other. So,
I
and
remember that now.
this was
Yes.
going on. This was the first step towards unification. As you know, unification means peace, right? First step towards unification. But George Bush and company didn't want anything
put a
of
stop
that
to
sort.
that.
They put a stop to that.
That was the last time Carter actually just came up with his memoirs. He was there in Pyongyang,
Yes.
and he was helping reestablish those connections.
Trying,
Okay.
yes, of course. So what happened now is when they put a stop to it and put pressure on North Korea about certain other things and started imposing
Namatay si
sanctions.
Kim Sung-il, and
Yeah.
then a short while later, Kim Jong-un was the one who
Took over.
took over
right.
na lumabo na naman.
Lumabo na naman. That's when the pressure nila, economic sanctions. They were not yet at that point where they were going to make a nuclear
Not at all.
bomb. No. But they were still pushing them. So much so that when they stopped North Korea from being able to import oil,
Ayun.
and they were pushed to go nuclear. Right? And nuclear energy is what they wanted to do, but they were making a nuclear energy plant for themselves. There was a claim that it was a bomb that they were making, so they moved on to this. No? So the demonization went on. Again, the presidents of the U.S. had changed, but the move against North Korea continues up to now.
The sanctions and the pressures
Up
against
to
yes.
now, right? So and finally, these guys are able to make bombs, and they saw what was happening what happened to Gaddafi, what happened to Saddam Hussein,
Mubarak.
and
Lahat sila sunod-sunod.
Mubarak, sunod-sunod sila. So binilisan nila dahil yan ang gagawin sa inyo pag wala kang puwersa. Okay? So they said we must have a force. We must have a nuclear capability. And they moved towards that. And the more they fell into this situation that they are considered a rogue state and they are considered an enemy of the rest of the world because they want to make a nuclear bomb. So we are at that situation.
But Iran suffered almost the same fate, but somehow they did not get to the stage of testing their missiles.
Yes.
Diba? Because it was the same time that Iran was growing wary,
Right.
and the only other state that was against Iran was obviously Israel,
Yeah.
who put a stop to that. And when Ahmadinejad was forced to step down,
Yeah.
then they started to talk again.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Iran's a little different because Iran is a client state of Russia. No. And
But they
Russia
should
was
move-
taking.
They would have had the opportunity to move faster.
Yes, but Russia was not going to provide them the
Ayaw.
no. And but it was a client state. No.
Okay.
And so, but nevertheless, it's still considered an enemy state of the United States even up to now. So we're in that situation where there is some provocation and there is a reaction. The testing of the missiles is considered a provocation.
Yes, that's
right?
a provocation. It
Okay.
has to be.
Yeah. So we're at that state. Now, is war imminent? Is it going to happen? Well, alam mo, pag nagduduruan, no,
Miscalculation ang delikado.
hindi malayong medyo
Magkamali.
sa diskarte o talagang
Magbabanatan.
babanatan. No? Example, pag nag-test ako ng missile, no,
Then I shoot it down.
and this guy shoots it down, but they think it's going to be not shooting it down, but
Papakawala ko ng isa pa.
di magkakaganyanan na. No? And the problem is, it happens ordinarily to people, no? But you do it with the fist, you do it with the baseball bat,
Yeah.
but they're doing it with nuclear weapons. That's the danger.
Damay South Korea, damay Japan.
Exactly.
Damay China.
Yeah. When North Korea says we're going to target Guam, no, the Americans should know that that is a
It's a direct
bluff.
Ah, it's
No,
a
that
bluff.
is a bluff. Because the targets will be South Korea and Japan.
That's what I would think, South Korea and
Yeah,
Japan.
di ba? And we must also understand that Guam, if you look at your map,
May kalayuan nga.
Guam to North Korea is equidistant with Philippines to North Korea.
It is almost, yes.
And
We
why
are
shouldn't the
equidistant.
Philippines be a target when tremendous number of warships are in our territorial waters? All of them capable of sending missiles all the way to North Korea.
Tinatakot mo naman ako, Butch.
Hindi.
Oh, sige,
I mean,
sige.
why shouldn't we? Alam nyo,
Tatago na ako sa ilalim.
hindi ba? Kanya dapat gagawa tayo ng paraan na hindi matuloy yan. Kasi you were saying something. Does it impact on the Philippines? Hindi gera yan nito. No? Nandito yung mga kano.
Collateral damage tayo.
Battleground din tayo. No? So, nandito yung kano. Pinayagan natin dito sa waters natin. Nandyan sa Subic Bay ang mga submarines nila. Nandyan yung kanilang destroyers. Nandyan, hindi malayo yung kanilang aircraft carrier. So, why shouldn't we become a target? No? And of course, pag nangyari itong mga to, tuloy na yung World War. No? Because China already told U.S. now, before it did it, but now it told the U.S.
Yes.
You don't. If you go to war,
Damay kami.
we will get intervene. No? And China was not joking when they said this. And last week, what was it? 2 weeks ago, I was in China on something else, Shanghai. And I was watching television, and I didn't realize it was the 90th anniversary of the People's Liberation Army. That is the whole armed forces, right? And they were, as usual, they were massively showing their army and their arms and all their missiles and all of that. And very, very impressive array of weaponry. No? And President Xi Jinping was dressed in military garb. No? And there was the translation in English on the bottom of the screen. So he addresses them. He tells
Subtitles, ha?
Yes. He tells the military, we must prepare for war.
I read that.
We must prepare for war. And he says, many years ago, they have destroyed us. And China has risen from the ashes. We will never allow anyone to bring us back down
On that
again.
note, we're going to have to take a break. Ladies and gentlemen, stay with us. I know it's getting tense. It's getting hot in here, but let's hope we don't rock and roll, but stay with us. We'll be right back.